Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. We are diving into the topic of owning your seat as a first-year executive. We spent a lot of time last week talking about why it matters, right? Because when you own your seat, you're there and you're adding value, and that's exactly why we all exist in an organization, right? We exist in an organization to add value. And if we're not doing that, then we're taking up space, and if we're taking up space, the company really doesn't have a need for us. And if you really want to maintain your position and have your career, you need to be needed, right? I hate to be so blunt, but it's true. We must add value in order to stay relevant, stay current, and stay needed in the organization. And so the primary way that we can add value as an executive is to really own our seat. And so today what we need to do is understand what is the key action. What is the key thing that we can do that will ensure that we're owning our seat? And the answer to that is we use our voice. Now, I know that sounds maybe a little hokey, maybe it sounds a little silly, but it's true. Using your voice, just like we talked about, indirectly last week, is the key way to own your seat. Think about it. We said it last week. We set the stage that every country in a meeting at the UN or whatever these large meetings, think of one, right? These large world organizational meetings where every country has a seat and every country is represented by an individual. It's the same theory, right? When you go into a very large meeting in your organization, especially at the executive level, every portion of the business has a seat at the table and they're expected to weigh in. And so the way that you do that is you use your voice, you speak up, you share thoughts, you share ideas, concerns, perspectives, whatabouts, right? Ideas. You share all of those things. And it's critical that you do that because that is why you're there. Now, I watch a lot of first-year female executives, and one of the key reasons why they hold back and they're not owning their seat is because they're afraid to use their voice. And again, we talked about that last week. The fear comes in because we're not sure how to exec. We're not sure how to show up. What does that look like? I knew how to do it before, but this is a completely different world, right? I feel like a fish out of water a little bit because I knew how to do everything prior to this, but this seat is very different. The way that I'm expected to lead as an executive is very different than the way I was expected to lead as a mid-level leader or a director or whatever that title was at the time, right? And it's very, very true. And because we are so focused on the differences, the reality here, and don't miss this, the reality is that because we're so focused on the differences, we miss the fact that we are still able to use our voice immediately in becoming an executive. And the reason for that is because of all the years of experience and knowledge and the things that you're bringing with you, the key things that you used prior to and that got you promoted. Sorry, I'm struggling to say this. Let me lay this out again. The key things that you learned in the prior 10 years that helped you develop your knowledge base, your judgment, your ability to effectively make decisions. All of those things that you learned over the prior portions of your career are within you. And those are one of the key reasons that you were promoted into the executive ranks in the first place. The knowledge is inside of you. You simply need to share it. We hold back because we think, well, because I don't know how to do this role, I'm not ready to speak up, which means therefore I'm not ready to own my seat. And the reality of it is that you are absolutely ready. Get this. This is really, really important. Learning to speak up, speaking up, using your voice, owning your seat happens concurrently, okay? It happens at the same time as you learning how to be a super amazing, successful executive, okay? It's not sequential. It's not, I must learn how to be an executive and then I can use my voice. It's not an if-then. That's not how this works. You must learn to use your voice in order to step in and be successful. That's how this happens. Use your voice. The judgment is inside of you. Speak up. Will you get it right all the time? Maybe, maybe not. But did you get it right all the time prior to? No. So don't worry about, am I going to get it right? ask yourself, do I need to speak up and share this information? Because one, it's my responsibility to do so. And two, I need to speak up because this is what's going to help move the entire company forward. It's going to help move my portion of the business forward. And I have a responsibility to share this knowledge that's inside of me. Using your voice is critical. It's how you get it done. And you've got to show up and do it. Okay? So, are we aligned? How do you own your seat? You use your voice. How do you use your voice? You simply draw on the knowledge and experience that you've gained over the past probably at least 10 years. Okay? Grab the workbook, do the work, ask yourself the questions about using your voice so that you can grow into that if you're not already there. And if you want someone to walk beside you as you step into owning your seat and using your voice, hit the link that's here in the details regarding this podcast episode and join the next cohort of women who are doing exactly that. As always, go and be legendary.